It's a tough act to follow after seasons 1 and 2, but I have a feeling that this season 3 of Lucha Underground is going to exceed my expectations. Hello, all wrestling fans in the wrestling world. I'm Mike McRock, and I am one half of the McRock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show. Guys, right now I'm going to review Lucha Underground, the Season 3 premiere, Episode 1. The main event was Rey Mysterio going one-on-one with Pentagon Dark. Let's run down everything about this setup show, is what I like to call it. Now, the first thing we get is Dario Cueto. He's in jail, he's doing chin-ups, and someone posts him bail, he gets out, and here's where Lucha Underground throws us a surprise. I like surprises every now and then on the show. We see the Hockey Talk Man as one of the prison guards as he escorts Dario Cueto out of jail. We get a limo pulling up, he gets in, he starts talking to this guy that we saw in season 2. I think he might be his employer, I'm not really sure. And this other guy that doesn't show his face, but they show a steel arm and this cheesy deep voice saying that Cueto wasted his time, and the next sentence that comes out of your mouth you will die, or something like that. And one could speculate who that is, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as I go along on this review. Then we get into the ring, where Dario Cueto and the Monster Matanza are in the ring. Dario Cueto, short, sweet, to the point, he announces that the main event for the show is Rey Mysterio against Pentagon Dark. And he also said that no one can stop the Monster Matanza because he defeated everyone. And then he introduces a new concept. It's called Dario's Dial of Doom. And what it is, it's a wheel. He spins the wheel, and whoever the name he lands on will face the Monster Matanza for the Lucha Underground Championship. And the wheel, when he spun it, it landed on Son of Havoc. Son of Havoc lost an opportunity, of course, to face the champion, but due to the fact that he was one of the few wrestlers on Lucha Underground that never faced a monster before, he was fortunate enough to face him here. And what I like about this match is that the Son of Havoc performed. I like that Son of Havoc knew the situation he was in, and he tried to pull every single move from the book to try to beat the monster, and it felt like he knew that the stakes were raised. Even I knew that the stakes were raised in this match. That's what it felt like I was watching it. You know, he performed very well in this match. You know, from double stomp to a splash in a split second, that was pretty good. The delayed elbow drop from the corner, I like different moves from different characters. The springboard moonsault to the outside. The shooting star press, I thought it was done, but the monster kicked out. And of course, the monster nails his finisher, beats Son of Havoc 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. And I thought that was a pretty good, solid to good match to open up the show. It was a proper way to open up the show with a championship match to establish that the monster can destroy everyone. And I have a feeling that the monster will destroy everyone that's on this wheel that Dario made up. He says he made it up on his own, which I do believe. And I think what might happen is that whoever gets to the last person that's on that wheel will probably be the one to beat the monster. It's predictable, but it would establish that the monster can be defeated but still keep the Monster Matanza as a monster heel. However, I think who is ever in that limo with that metal hand and cheesy voice, I think that person will be the one to beat the monster for the Lucha Underground Championship going forth to Season 3. Time will tell. Now we get to a backstage segment. The Worldwide Underground walks into Dario Cueto's office. Johnny Mundo demands that Dario Cueto gives him a match for the Lucha Underground Championship, and Dario Cueto says no. And then Mundo says, okay, then give me a Gift of the Gods Championship match. And Dario Cueto says no, because Johnny Mundo and his team lost at Ultima Luchadores, but Taya won her match against Ivelisse, and that she will be the one to face Sexy Star for the Gift of Gods Championship. What I like here is that this show keeps it consistent, unlike that other trash company that I stopped watching. You award the person that won a match in the previous big show a championship match. It keeps the consistency going. And that's what I like about it. It's just consistency. Strict basic wrestling 101. It's something that the WWE doesn't even know how to do, apparently. Well, apparently. And after that, we get Ivelisse. She cuts a promo, says that she wants Katrina at Ultima Luchadores. Katrina comes out and says, you know what? Bring it on. And I like, when Lucha Underground establishes a heel, depending on their character. I like that they don't make a lot of them a chicken shit type of heel, and that, a heel would run away from a baby face every time they get in their face. I like how they book their heels, and like the Master Matanza and like Katrina in this segment. I do have one minor little nitpick. If I wanted revenge on someone that cost me a match, even if there were no stakes on the line, I wouldn't want to have that match soon and not wait it out months later on. I get that, Ivelisse wants to get her revenge on the biggest stage. That'd be the perfect time, the perfect place. I get it, to her standpoint. But, if I wanted revenge, I would want revenge as soon as possible. I'm just saying. Then we get Sexy Star versus Taya for the Gift of the Gods Championship match. It was a fine match. I think this was Ultima Lucha's weakest segment on the show, but it's not to say it was a bad segment, because this was a match that was just fine. I didn't feel like that the stakes were as high as the first match here, because to me, this match felt like this was a way to enhance an 8-person tag team match next week or something like that, where we have the Worldwide Underground interfering and trying to cost Sexy Star the match, but that ultimately fails because Sexy Star retains. Then we get Phoenix, Aerostar, and Drago come out to even the odds for Sexy Star after she beats Ivelisse after she beats Taya in this match. So it's kind of like they're throwing away this match to enhance a 4-way match. Like I said, I didn't feel that this was a championship match. I just didn't quite feel it. Now we get to the next thing, and that was the main event. Now before we get into the main event, I want to talk about just a couple of things just to get it out of the way. Marty the Moth is in Dario Cueto's office, and Dario says he wants to thank his family for helping him out, stuff like that, while he was in prison. And he makes a match between Marty the Moth and Killshot next week. Weapons of Mass Destruction. Everything is legal. That's a match I'm really looking forward to. I think that Killshot is finally going to get his resolvement here. And, of course, the obvious Katrina and Ivelisse match coming up. Now we get to the main event, and that was Rey Mysterio versus Pentagon Dark. That's right, he's no longer Pentagon Jr., he is Pentagon Dark. Now, what I like about this match was the end result of this match, because at the end of the day, no matter what wrestling moves you do inside the ring, the most important thing about a match is the ending of that match. Then we got Pentagon Dark. He goes out of the ring, talks some smack to Vampiro. Vampiro leaves the announce desk. Rey wins the match shortly after. Pentagon attacks Rey from behind. He gives him a razor's edge, and he's about to break Rey Mysterio's arm. Dragon Azteca Jr. comes out to save Rey from the injury. Thus, we have a continuing story to close out the show. Now we know that Pentagon Dark is the master. He now claims he is the master. He's no longer the student. And now I'm wondering now if that's the case, to what? If Pentagon Dark is the master, what is he the master of now? Is he going to teach a student to become a better and stronger fighter? Now, my prediction, as I got out of this segment, maybe that Pentagon Dark is going to try to sway Dragon Azteca Jr. away from Rey Mysterio to build some tension between the two of them and try to get the Dragon to join Pentagon Dark's side, the dark side, so to speak. Maybe like change his mask and stuff like that and his attire, to possibly enhance that one-on-one match between Dragon Azteca and Rey. It's probably, to me, the best option to go with. I mean, I like to see, now that Pentagon Dark is the master, can he teach someone to become like him, much like what Vampiro tried to do, anyway, to get Pentagon Dark to become like him. Only time will tell. Now, the show really ended here with Prince Puma. He's backstage. Prince Puma was thinking about, and he was dwelling on his loss to Rey Mysterio. Now Vampiro comes in and tells Prince Puma that he knows what he's feeling. He's been there, that he's lost, and that there's no one to guide him and stuff like that. And Puma says he doesn't want anything from Vampiro, which to me makes sense because Vampiro was a part of Pentagon's loss at Ultima Lucha. So why would you want to align yourself with someone that was a part of someone's loss? Makes sense on the part of Prince Puma. Now Vampiro gives him some advice. He tells him that if he wants to be Prince Puma again, he has to beat Mil Muertes again, which makes sense because it was Mil Muertes that defeated Prince Puma for the championship at the first Ultima Lucha show. Now Vampiro says that it's not about him. Going back here, now Prince Puma's rebuttal was that he was surprised that he doesn't want him to take out his former student Pentagon Dark. Vampiro kind of like shrugs it off and tells Prince Puma that it's not about Vampiro. This is about you, Prince Puma. And he walks off. Now, what I like about this segment is that, to me, it feels like this is Lucha's way of telling us that the story between Vampiro and Pentagon Dark is over and done with. I hope they don't go back to it. And now that Vampiro is no longer Pentagon's master, what does he do? Maybe he does feel that he is lost with no direction. So he wants to confide in someone to be the teacher of someone. And we have Prince Puma, the candidate for Vampiro, to fill in his void. And the funny thing is, as he walks up, you almost get that feeling that Vampiro has his own hidden agenda. One could speculate about what that would be. But overall, this first Lucha Underground episode of Season 3 was a pretty good show. Almost every segment had a setup piece to it. Some I liked more than others. I'm curious to see what Lucha is going to do with Pentagon Dark and Prince Puma for this season. And even though the Gift of the Gods match was just fine, it was just one small bump in the flow of the show overall, and it picked up after that match. Guys, I'm going to give the Season 3 premiere of Lucha Underground 7.5 out of 10. If you saw this episode of Lucha, what did you think about it? Feel free to leave those comments right here in the comment section below. And you can also subscribe. You can also hit that subscribe button down below this video as well to become an MRBer on this wrestling review show.